we're going to get started. So welcome. We're going to start in a seated position on our mats. So wherever that's comfortable for you, if you want to leave your legs cross-legged, if you want to stretch your legs long out in front of you, whatever works, a nice, comfortable seated position. Maybe you close your eyes, or maybe you find a soft gaze on something in front of you in your space. And we're going to begin this class the way we begin all of our classes, by bringing some awareness to our breath. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. I don't want you to change your breath, not yet. And I definitely don't want you to judge it. I just want you to notice it. What does it feel like today? Maybe the length of your inhales feels a little bit longer than the length of your exhales. Maybe they feel about the same. You're just noticing. We focus on our breath in yoga for a couple reasons. With Vinyasa, it is to move, so we're going to be using our breath to help us move. But it's also to help us find some stillness, particularly in the mind. But I don't want you to think that you're supposed to be turning your mind off, or your thoughts are supposed to stop at any point. We focus on our breath to actually allow ourselves the space to think anything we want. Anything your body wants to think today, we're letting it think that. But the trick is we're focusing on our breath. So we don't have to focus on all of those thoughts. They become more like clouds in the sky. It doesn't really bother us. Still not changing your breath. On your next inhale, I want your spine to grow tall, crown of the head reaches toward the ceiling or the sky, and then exhale those shoulders down and out from the ears. Sometimes it can be more comfortable to find your breath if you place one hand over your heart and the other one over your belly button, and you feel how the breath moves through the body. And now, if you'd like to move with your breath a little bit all together, on your next exhale, we're going to exhale out all the air all together. And then we're going to inhale for just a third. Inhale for that second third. Inhale for that last third and pause. And then exhale a third. Exhale that second third. Exhale that last third and pause. And again, we'll inhale for a third. Inhale that second third. Inhale that last third and pause. And then we'll exhale a third. Exhale that second third. Exhale that last third and pause and breathless. And then I want you to come back to your natural breath cycle. But maybe you notice that the breath has moved a little bit closer to feeling even, where the length of your inhales matches the length of your exhales. We're all going to try to find that even breath cycle. Whatever that feels like for you. And it's okay if it doesn't feel particularly natural right now, or if it takes a lot of effort. We're going to be coming back to it throughout class today, so hopefully it will feel a little bit more comfortable by the time that we end. If you would like to set an intention for today's class, I'd invite you to do that now. An intention could be a mantra, it could be the reason you stepped onto your mat today, but it's where you're going to draw your energy from in today's class. And if you can't think of one, no worries, you're more than welcome to join me in mine. And my intention for today is community exists even when you can't see it. Keep focusing on your breath. And maybe begin to make some subtle movements with the body, tapping the fingers to the thumb, maybe making some small circles with the wrists. We can inhale and float the chin over the right shoulder as if we were looking towards the right, trying to keep that shoulder down and out from the ear. Inhale that nose back towards center. And if we're rotating our wrist, let's switch and go the other way. Full breath cycle before we exhale the chin to the left shoulder and look towards the left. Inhaling back towards center. We shake the shoulders out a little bit. And then everyone's gonna meet in an easy seated pose. So crisscross applesauce, easy pose. And I want you to make sure that both of your sits bones are equally planted onto your mat here. We're gonna inhale those arms overhead and exhale just the right palm down to the right, and we'll bend to the right. I want you to try to keep those shoulders stacked so our hearts stay nice and open. Inhale back towards center. Exhale down towards the left, same thing. Inhaling towards center. Let's exhale that right hand down. Maybe this time we come down to the forearm and take a deeper stretch. Maybe we stay on that palm, especially if that left sits bone comes off with us. Inhale back towards center. Last time, exhale that left hand to the side. Same thing. Inhale towards center. Exhale both palms down by our sides. Shake the shoulders out. And then moving so the soles of our feet come together in front of us in our Baddha Konasana or our bound ankle position. The closer your feet are to the body, the harsher the stretch is going to feel on your hip flexors. So whatever your body needs today. But I want you to inhale first to find that length in the spine, kind of the head reaches toward the ceiling. On your exhale, the heart is really going to guide the movement forward. We're trying to get the heart as close to the toes as we can. And we're also honoring that space between the chin and the chest. So keep the gaze lifted towards the ground as you fold. And just find where your body wants to stop. And pause there. And then maybe you inhale halfway up. And exhale, see if the body wants to sink, maybe just a millimeter closer to the feet. We're inviting movement today, so if we're gripping or grabbing anything, let's let it go. And maybe once we've found our stillness, we do begin to tuck the chin towards the chest and round that spine down. And inhaling the gaze back up first. On your exhale, the body is going to follow very slowly. We can slide our hands underneath our legs, kind of close them like a book. Maybe windshield wiper them from side to side. And then we're going to lengthen our legs out on our mat, toes pointing up at the ceiling. And it's okay if we have a ridge underneath our knees in our mat, a little space there. Again, I want you to make sure both sits bones are equally planted on the mat, and you're going to inhale to find that length in the spine. Beautiful. On your exhale, imagine that you're trying to push the heart forward towards the toes, and you're going to reach forward, and we can't reach any further forward, then you can bend. And we're still trying to keep the gaze lifted as if we're trying to keep the spine in line the entire way down our neck and our back. If we're gripping with the hands, let's let them come to the sides of the feet. And maybe once you found stillness, again, you tuck that chin towards the chest and round that spine down. Inhaling the gaze back up towards the toes. On your exhale, just as slowly as we got into it, we'll walk the body back up and then maybe bring the hands behind the heart. Open that chest up. Awesome. And then however is most comfortable for you to come to your hands and your knees in a tabletop position, that's where we're headed next. All right, so you will know that you are in your very best tabletop position when your wrists are stacked right underneath your shoulders, your knees are stacked right underneath your hips. If you take a peek through your legs, you shouldn't be able to see your feet. And we have a nice flat back here. If the wrists are uncomfortable here, let's come down to the forearms and just replace the wrists with the elbows. It's the exact same thing here, but we're gonna begin with just some gentle cat and cow. So on your inhale, I want you to let that belly button droop down towards the mat. The gaze lifts, maybe just a foot in front of your mat to start. On your exhale, you're gonna push the mat away. It's like a string is pulling the belly button up towards the ceiling, and you're gonna round the spine like an angry kitty. And again, inhaling, that belly button comes down, the tailbone tucks towards the shoulders. Exhale, you push the mat away, and the belly button rises. Now let's do this 4 more times at your own pace. Feeling free to exaggerate the movements as you'd like, rolling out the shoulders or rolling out the hips. And then coming back to stillness and a flat back whenever you're ready. We're just gonna warm up the wrists a little bit. We're not gonna be on them too much today, but they need a little love. So let's float that right hand so our fingertips face towards our knees when we're on our mat. And just bring each fingertip to the thumb and back again. And then shake that hand out, replace it on the mat. We're gonna do the same with the left hand. So you're just gonna flip the palm, bring each fingertip to the thumb and back again. And then shake it out. Replace it on your mat. And I want you to spread your fingertips wide here. We're really trying to press into the palm, or the pads of the palm and the L between the index finger and the thumb to protect those wrists. Because on our inhale, we're gonna tuck the toes. On an exhale, we're gonna lift our hips up and back for our first downward dog of class. Oh, let's be very kind to the body. Take your dog for a little walk here, bending one knee and then the other, sinking the heels towards the mat one at a time. Maybe you bring both knees to hover just 2 inches off the mat in a floating child's pose and then extend back up. Fabulous. And we're gonna start to begin to build our flow. So if you know where your vinyasa flow likes to be, you can feel free to do that. If you'd like to start to flow all together, we're gonna inhale the gaze between the hands, exhale, roll forward into a plank position. Let's bring our knees to the ground, untuck the toes, keeping the elbows as close to the body as we can. We're gonna lower all the way down to the mat, all the way down. Fantastic. And I'm sorry if there's anyone else sleeping in your house, but I want you to make a little bit of noise now. I want you to drum the tops of your feet onto your mat. Just wherever they're at, drumming your feet, and then pausing but pressing that exact same part of the foot into the mat. Feel the kneecaps lift. There's no weight in the fingertips. You're gonna inhale, and just the fingertips will float off. You can give me a little wave. Exhale back down. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Feel the kneecaps lift again. Gentle weight in the fingertips. You come up a little bit higher. Exhale back down. And the last one, you're gonna press the tops of the feet into the mat. Tent the fingertips wider than your mat width distance onto the ground and bring your elbows to about a 90-degree angle. Maybe you drip one shoulder towards the middle and then the other. However many times you'd like. Before you bring the body back down, hands come underneath the shoulder heads. Inhale, tuck the toes. Exhale, press the body up and back to your downward dog. Let's bring those knees to the ground, untuck the toes, and the hips over the heels for a child's pose. I can see some of you, so hello. Everyone looks so wonderful so far. Here's the thing about child's pose. I want you to come to child's pose at any point in our practice, whenever you feel like you need a pause, to come back to your breath, anything. But I also want child's pose to be the place of ultimate restoration for you. So if child's pose is not the most comfortable place for your body, I'd like you to go there instead. If that's kneeling, if that's tabletop, whatever that is for you. Cool? Okay. So when you're ready and your breath feels about even again, we're bringing that back. Reflect on that intention if you set one. And when your body tells you it's ready, and not a second before, you're gonna inhale that body up towards tabletop position. Maybe take a round or two of cat and cow here. And whenever you're ready, spread those fingertips wide. Inhale, let's tuck the toes. Exhale, we'll lift the hips up and back for your downward dog. Again, feel free to take the time to get a little comfortable here as much as is possible. Maybe you inhale that right leg high to the sky in our three-legged dog. Maybe you want to stack those hips and open up towards the side. And then straightening that leg out, re-squaring the hips down towards the mat. I want you to inhale and the gaze will move in between the hands first. On your exhale, as softly as you can, that right foot is going to step forward somewhere towards that right thumb. Beautiful. Let's bring the left knee down, left toes untucked. I want you to take that right hand and move it to the inside of that right foot. Maybe that right foot heel toes out a little bit wider, but take a peek at your front knee. That right knee is over top of the ankle or slightly behind it. Fabulous. And I just want you to focus on your breath here. So the heart is lifted as if you were trying to show someone in front of you a really cool necklace you have on or something. And maybe if the body feels ready, we come down to the forearms here. And I just want you to focus on your breath. That's all you're gonna do. On your next inhale, if we're on our forearms, let's come back to the hands. Let's move that right hand on the outside of that right foot. On another inhale, let's tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, and with an audible groan, I want you to float that right leg high to the sky and back down to meet the left in that downward dog. Option for a vinyasa float if you'd love to take one. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale all the way down or halfway. And I want you to inhale into whatever cobra or upward facing dog felt really great to you. Exhale back down. Hands come underneath the shoulder blades. Inhale. Push the body up. Exhale back. Everyone's doing beautifully. All right, we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So if you wanna take yourself there, please feel free. But we're gonna inhale, float that left leg high to the sky. Inhale to gaze between the hands first. Exhale, let's step that left foot forward to meet that left thumb. Let's bring the right knee to the ground, right toes untucked. That left hand, it's gonna move to the inside of the left foot. So maybe the left foot comes a little bit wider. And take a peek at my knee. It's still right over top or behind my ankle. If I'm going over towards the toes, we're gonna move the foot out in front of us a little bit more. Beautiful. And I just want you to breathe. Just gonna breathe. Come back to that even breath. Maybe you come down to the forearms. And we're still trying to keep those shoulders out from the ears. So wherever we're at, we're just gonna shrug them out. And we're gonna focus on our breath. Two more breath cycles here. On your next exhale, let's come back to the palms if we're on our forearms. We're gonna move that hand to the outside of that left foot again. Inhale, I want you to tuck the back toe, lift the back knee, and with an audible groan, float that left leg high to the sky and back down to meet the right. Another option for a vinyasa flow, if you'd love to take one. We're gonna inhale, roll that body forward. Maybe the knees stay off this time. Maybe you lower all the way. Maybe you lower halfway and then inhale up to that upward facing dog. Exhale back to downward dog. Let's bring the knees to the ground, untuck the toes. Maybe the big toes come together and the knees come wide and you sink the hips back towards the heels for a well-deserved child's pose. Always remember to take water when you want some. And I want you to come back to your breath. So find that even breath cycle. Notice if it feels easier to find it than we first started class. Maybe it feels a little harder. Maybe it feels about the same. All of that is okay. reflect on that intention if you set one. And it's never too late to set one if you want to set one now. But we're building on our flow still. So when you're ready and your body tells you it wants to move a little bit more, we're just going to inhale back up towards that tabletop position. Let's take a round or two of cat and cow here at our own pace, and remembering that we can reverse the breath cues if maybe it doesn't feel great to us. So we can inhale up and exhale down. And when you're ready, on an inhale, let's tuck the toes. Exhale, lift the hips up and back for downward dog. And I want you to inhale the gaze between the hands, and exhale, take the slowest walk with as many steps possible to meet them at the top of your mat in that forward fold. We have a generous bend in the knees here because we're trying to get the heart as close to the thighs as we can. And maybe once we're here, we grasp opposite elbows, create a basket for the spine, and sway side to side. Maybe you just tiptoe your fingertips to the left and to the right along the mat. Maybe you shake your head no and nod it yes. But we're gonna inhale for a halfway lift first. So on your next inhale, I just want you to trace your fingertips up your shins, pause at the shins, around the knees, no weight in the hands. We have a nice flat back. Exhale all the way back down. And this time, inhale, generous bend the knees, the arms come wide. You're gonna scoop that air all the way up. Woo. And you can no longer see me when I do that. So let's exhale our hands down to the side and pause in our Tadasana or our mountain pose. I want you to take a peek down at your feet. Maybe you roll onto the toes and onto the heels and onto the sides of the feet. But you're gonna press into whichever parts of the foot make you feel the most grounded and the most stable. This is where we're gonna build our practice from. Once you feel that, I want you to inhale, that spine grows tall. Exhale those shoulders down and out from the ears. And then on your next inhale, you're gonna scoop that air all the way up. And exhale with a nice flat back, back down towards the earth in that forward fold. Beautiful. Inhale for that halfway lift, only if it makes you happy. Exhale back down. Fingertips can be tense on the mat. You're gonna step back with the left foot and then the right foot directly to that plank position. An option for a Vinyasa flow, if you'd like to take one, move with your breath, whatever you choose to do. We're all gonna meet in downward dog whenever you're ready. From this downward dog, we're gonna inhale, float that right foot high to the sky. We've been here before. And then bring your gaze in between the hands. Exhale, very gently step that right foot forward towards that right thumb. This time, we're gonna leave that back knee off the mat. So we have several options here. We can keep our hands here on the ground if that's what feels comfortable to us. Or we can inhale up and raise those hands up to the sky. Whatever works for you. I'm gonna move this up a little bit. Beautiful. And I want you to take a peek at your front knee. That right knee is over top of the ankle or slightly behind it. We're not going over towards the toes. Everyone that I can see looks awesome. Inhale, maybe you straighten that front leg a little bit. Exhale back down. And then on your next inhale, I want you to pivot that back foot open. We're coming towards our warrior two. So now those left toes are facing towards the left and our back foot is about parallel to the back of our mat. Everyone looks beautiful. Flip both palms for me. Inhale up. Exhale back down. Flip both palms. Straighten that front leg on your inhale. Exhale back down. Take a peek at that front knee. It's over top of that ankle or slightly behind. Flip both palms for me. Inhale up. Exhale back down. This time you're gonna inhale, just with the palms, don't move. Exhale, let's cartwheel those hands back down to frame the front foot. We've pivoted onto those left toes with a nice groan. We're gonna float that right leg high to the sky and down to meet the left. Another option for a vinyasa flow, if you'd love to take one, inhale forward, exhale down and up. Inhale here, exhale back to downward dog. And then let's bring our knees to the ground, untuck the toes and the hips over the heels for another child's pose. I want you to come back to your breath. Shocker. But I want you to find that even breath. And I want you to determine if it still works for your body. And if it doesn't, I want you to forget about it. I want you to find the breath that works for your body right now. So maybe that's a longer inhale and a shorter exhale, or vice versa. Maybe it is that even breath. Wherever you're at, find the breath that works for you. Come back to that intention. Draw some more energy from it. And then when your body tells you it's ready, not a second before, we're gonna meet back in that downward dog. From here, you know exactly where we're going. So if you want to guide yourself there, feel free. But we're going to start by inhaling that left leg high to the sky. Gaze comes in between the hands. Exhale, step that left foot forward. Again, several options here. We can stay here with our hands on the mat, and that is full expression. It's beautiful. Maybe you want to inhale those arms up. Hands can stay here or can come overhead. But take a peek at that front knee. It's over top or behind that ankle. You still haven't moved the joints. They love to be in line. We're not going to change that for them today. Focus on your breath. And on your next exhale, I want you to pivot that back foot to the ground and come towards that warrior two. It's okay if it feels a little funky at first. That's all right. Flip both palms for me. Inhale up. Exhale back down. And take a peek at that front knee. Is it where the joints like them? Is that back foot about parallel with the back of your mat? Fabulous. Flip both palms for me. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time. Let's inhale up. Exhale down. This time, inhale, just flip the palms. Exhale, cartwheel that hand back down to frame that front foot. You're gonna step that left foot up and back to meet the right. Option for a vinyasa flow if you'd love to take one. Inhaling forward, exhaling down and up. Inhale here, exhale back. And then let's bring the knees to the ground, untuck the toes from the hips over the heels for a well-deserved child's pose. Let's see what time we're at here. Oh, beautiful. We have so much time. Come back to your breath again. We've done both sides now, so I want you to check in with them. Take your breath and a little walk through the body. And I want you to find something that feels so good right now. Maybe that's like your left big toe. Maybe you're like, my hips feel really good right now. Whatever it is, find it. Inhale into it. Exhale out of it. Now I want you to find something in the body that's holding tension or stress. Maybe it's the shoulders, or the rib cage, or the hips. But I want you to inhale into them to create some space and see if you can exhale it out. Let's try that one more time. We'll inhale into places of stress and exhale out of it. Create some room. Let that stress go. Fabulous. So from this child's pose, wide-legged or standard, I want you to inhale, float that right hand up towards the sky, and then you're gonna thread that right arm underneath the left and rest on that left cheek. We're threading the needle underneath our child's pose. That hand, that left hand can stay out front or tuck back behind the back. Inhale, release that left hand. And I want you to press into it and fly that right arm up and back down towards the mat. Same thing on the left side. Let's inhale that left arm up and we're gonna thread it underneath the right and rest on that left shoulder and on that left cheek. Looks just like this. Fabulous. That right hand can stay where it's at. It can tuck back behind the body or it can just rest here. Beautiful. Release that hand wherever it's at, that right hand, press into it to float that left arm up towards the sky and bring it back down. And then we're all gonna meet in tabletop whenever we're ready. And then however's most comfortable for us to come to a seated position on our mat, that's where we're headed next. And I want you to scoot up a little bit so you have enough room to lay back down behind you. But you're gonna plant your feet on your mat, knees face up towards the sky. And first you're gonna inhale, hug the legs in, find that length in the spine. And then you're just gonna lean back until this arm looks like it's almost about straight. Yeah. And then release that right hand, palm facing up. Maybe release that left hand, palm facing up. And kind of like a mummy getting back into bed at the end of the day, we're gonna lower ourselves down on the mat for a count of 7. So for 7, 6, 5, 4, pause. 3, 2, 1. Let it all go. Inhale those knees in towards the chest. Maybe you rock the spine side to side or along the length of the spine. If you have no neck or spine concerns, I'm gonna see if I can move this a little bit more. Fabulous. And maybe you reach on the inside of your knees for the outside of the feet and open them up into happy baby as if we're stamping our legs onto the ceiling. And we can rock side to side here as well or guide the soles of our feet together in a kind of a Supta Baddha Konasana. And then releasing those feet, I want you to hug the knees in towards the chest again. Let's draw some circles on the ceiling with them. So big circles to the right first. Giving our lower back a little bit of a break, a little massage. Let's switch and go towards the left. And coming back towards center, I want you to let both feet come to plant on your mat, just like that. And then you're gonna cross that right foot over top of the left, flexing through that right foot. So that right foot plants right on top of the left quad. And then maybe you stay here, maybe you reach underneath the crossed leg for the back of that left thigh and you hug the legs in towards the heart. This is our version of supine pigeon, if pigeon is in your practice, but it's usually much more accessible for everybody to do it on your back. You can still use your breath here. So maybe you inhale, release the stretch a little bit. Exhale, see if the legs can be hugged a little bit closer. Maybe you practice straightening out that left leg or keeping it bent. On your next exhale, let's release that left foot back down towards the mat. And keeping your legs exactly where they're at. Right, it's still on top of the left. I just want you to let that right foot come down towards the left side of your mat. So we folded our feet just over top. Fabulous. And those right arms can come out, both arms, not just the right arms. All the arms can come out to goalpost here. Maybe you look over towards the right. Inhale the gaze back towards center for me. Before you exhale, the feet come back as well. And then you're gonna uncross that right leg and plant that foot back down towards the left. Maybe you windshield wiper the knees out a little bit. And coming back to stillness, we're gonna do the exact same thing on the other side. So I want you to cross that left foot over top of the right quad. We're flexing through that left foot. Maybe we're here, maybe we reach underneath that crossed leg for the back of that right thigh and hug the legs in towards the body. Everyone I can see looks great. Again, use your breath. Inhale to release a little bit. Exhale to explore that space you might have created. Focus on your breath still. We haven't lost it. Even as we guide the body through some stretch. Releasing that right foot back down towards the mat, leaving the left where it's at. You're just gonna let that left foot come down to the ground. And maybe you look over to the left. Notice what this does for the lower back. Maybe it feels pretty good. Maybe it feels kind of neutral. If anything ever feels really uncomfortable, we come out of it. We're not here to make the body, we're not here to push the body, I should say. Inhaling the nose back towards center first. Exhale, the legs will come back as well. Then we're gonna uncross the legs, plant that left foot back down towards the right. Maybe you windshield wiper the knees out again. And I would be remiss if I didn't try to get to all the muscles of the body. So we're gonna do a little bit with the core just before we end. So from here, I just want you to inhale those knees right over top of the hips and flex through those feet. It's as if we were in tabletop, except we're on our back. Beautiful. And from here, on an exhale, you're just gonna extend that right heel up towards the ground and then bring it down towards the end of your mat and inhale it back in. Exhale the same with the left. The heel goes up and down, and then we're gonna inhale it in. And I want you to find this at your own breath pace. So exhale the leg down and inhale it back in. Exhale the leg down and inhale it back in. 3 more times per side. Why not? Inhale it in. Exhale down. Inhale in. And maybe, if you'd like, you can do both legs at once. Going with your breath, that's the really important part. So maybe you have to slow the legs down to move with your breath. 2 more times wherever you're at. I know I just said 3, but we're making up as we go along, you know. Last one. Oh, and then I want you to grab those knees, hold them in, maybe rock side to side. Everyone did so wonderfully with that. All right, I want you to hold on to just that right knee. Let the left leg extend long on your mat. And then with that left hand, you're gently gonna guide that right knee across the body towards the left. Now this can feel a lot like the stretch we did with our foot planted, but this should get into much more of the back and even into those shoulders. I want you to look at my right shoulder. It's not popping off the mat. We're keeping it planted onto our mat. So the right shoulder's popping off. Bring that knee back towards center. Our gaze can come over towards the right. And this foot that we have here, if that foot is flying high off the mat and it's uncomfortable, decrease the angle in your knee and just bring that foot down towards the ground. Inhale that nose back to center first. Exhale, that right knee is gonna follow. And then we'll inhale both knees into the chest again. Same exact thing on this side. So hold on to that left knee, let the right leg extend long on your mat. And then very gently, you're gonna use that right hand to guide the left knee across the body, still trying to keep both shoulders equally planted into your mat. Yeah. Maybe you decrease the angle in that knee to bring the foot towards the mat. Awesome. If we've looked over towards the left, let's bring the nose back towards center first, and then the leg will follow. Last time, hug both knees into the chest, and then I want you to exhale, let them go. Extend them long on your mat. You can let the toes fall away from each other. The hands can come to the side of the body. We like to say that palms can face up to collect energy or can face down to find grounding, whatever your body needs today. But I want you to relax everything, absolutely everything, and trust your mat or the ground that you're practicing on to hold everything that you have to offer, all that you have. It's going to support it. So I just want you to relax and let yourself sink into it. Very gently beginning to bring some awareness back to the body by wiggling the fingers and the toes, making really small circles with the wrists and the ankles. When you're ready, inhaling those arms overhead to take a full body stretch, pointing the toes. Exhaling the arms. Oof. On your next exhale, just rolling to the right side, using your bicep as a cushion for your head. For the last time all together, we're going to reflect on those intentions we might have set. We're going to let them go if they no longer serve us. And we're going to hold them in if we wish to carry them with us. And when you're ready, not a second before, I want you to spread the fingertips on that left hand wide and feel the connection between each fingertip and the ground in front of you. And on an exhale, you're just going to come back to a seated position at the top of your mat where we're all going to end class together. Maybe your eyes stay closed, maybe they open. Whatever works best for you. Once we're all here, let's inhale those palms overhead to touch. We're gonna exhale them down the midline. We're gonna pause at the forehead. May we all think kind thoughts. We're gonna pause at the lips. May we speak kind words. And we're gonna pause finally at the heart. May we have kind intentions to ourselves and to those around us. Thank you all so much for sharing with me today. May you all be happy. May you be safe. May you walk this earth with peace and at ease. And may you find the space to help others along the way. Namaste, yogis. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, well, I'm going to stop recording